Sunshine Wild Pack, it's Bernadette, and I'm here with your Sunday ceremony for May the 16th. Yes, May the 16th, 2021. And, okay, so I'm going to go through my housekeeping because I have to. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the little ringy billy deli bingy thingy so you get all the notifications. Pick up a copy of the Arcane Tarot and Orchid Book and get on over to gatheringofmystics.com. And it's not that I don't care about those things, but there's a very powerful message that's coming through on this Sunday for this Sunday ceremony for you all. And so I'm just going to get right to it. So if you saw the thumbnail is the secret to winning a war. And there, wow, wow. So I never in a million years would have dreamed that the Animal Allies would want me to share anything like this with you all. And yet, what I discovered was there was such a war waging in me. I'm doing this. I mean, I do all my videos live, like raw, and then I send them to Joel, and you know, Joel edits them and he uploads them and he does all of his magic. And today it's just a raw video. I don't know what you're going to see in the background. Who knows? Who knows? But I just stalled this week for doing the Sunday ceremony, which I always have to record ahead of time unless I'm doing a live. Let me jump into it. So last night, late in the evening, I was feeling pretty bad about myself because one of my best friends came over yesterday and we did our sushi thing, our veggie sushi, and we talked, and, and I was just in a place I'm not normally at. And I felt bad because she came over and so you know who you are, and I still apologize and I still feel badly about that. But what has triggered my demons this week, and I mean triggered my demons, actually for the last 2 weeks, and I haven't slept, and I want to say I've barely been able to eat. You guys that can barely eat when you're under stress, I want your genetic makeup, because that's all I do is shovel sugar into my mouth when I'm stressed, and I am working on that. Truly I am. But here's the story. So, as you all know, I ask you, please, I will answer as many emails as I can. I do try to get to them all. I know some of you are chapped because I couldn't get to yours. Y'all, I get a lot of email and IMs on Facebook and this and that and whatever at all hours of the day and night, text messages. I just can't get to them all. I can't. So I want to, though, desperately. I really want to. So anyway, so I always ask you guys, please don't send me stories about abused animals. I don't care how great the outcome is. Somewhere in there's going to be pictures. I cannot see them. I cannot. I always say the worst phrase that anybody could say in their life, or one of the worst, is know your limitations. Unless you think that you have unlimited potential for everything, in which case, okay, great. Know that your limitations are unlimited. So, but I have tried to be able to stomach them. I have tried to, it doesn't work. I cannot see them. I will have nightmares. I will not sleep for 2 weeks. Okay. Because everything is every animal in the world is mine to save, just so you know, in case you hadn't heard. So, it's my responsibility, it's my duty. Those were my marching orders. So, there's a thing going on here in Gainesville, and there's this crazy old gal, and she's crazy, y'all, like crazy. And since 1997, this woman has been being cited for abuse and cruelty to her animals. She's only had to pay a fine once. The rights to own animals, not like you can own an animal, but that's what the law states. The right to have them has never been stripped from her. I don't know who's protecting this person, but this is the day and the age of social media. And a couple of younger people, millennials, God love them, in many ways, they are the voice of this new generation. In many ways, I just want to bunk them right on the head. But they got a hold of pictures and video of this gal, and I'll spare you the details, but they were like, what? So of course they called, and there was an investigation, and even though the officer that did the investigation recommended to his superiors these animals be taken from her home and she never be allowed to have animals again, because there's a stack of paperwork like this on this gal since 1997. 1997. It didn't happen. So now we have this local group on Facebook called Word of Mouth Gainesville, and it's a fantastic group. You want to know what's going on in Gainesville, you'll get the right story, the wrong story, the funny story, the sad story, this story. It is just a hoot and a holler. But you can find real, authentic, great information on there. So these gals posted, and now they're going to stage a peaceful protest. Okay, okay, okay. I applaud their efforts. I do. But that's like the petitions that go around online, y'all. What do you think those petitions do? Come on now. And if someone wants to show me data that if 2 million people sign a petition for something, it's going to change. Now, it is a way for the people to speak up. That's true. But if you want to speak up, pick up the phone and call your congressman. Pick up the phone and call your local food manager. Pick up the phone and call, pick up the phone. Even if even sending an email, come on. They have autoresponders for that stuff. They've got algorithms in those things that if you have particular words in your emails and it goes to your congresswoman or your whatever, the Senate, the whatever, they scan those emails for those words and they ping you back the appropriate autoresponder. If you don't know that, I am sorry to break your heart, burst your bubble, but they do. Not all of them maybe, but I know for a fact it happens. So all that's it. So unfortunately, I saw the pictures and it was too late by then because I saw them and I saw the video. Now I had the choice not to play that video, but it auto started, and it was like a train wreck. I just couldn't, So I happen to know a couple people, or 3 or 20 here in Gainesville, who sit pretty high up, and as high up as you can sit in Gainesville, Florida, y'all, because you'd be very surprised who comes to a psychic for years. You'd be surprised. Anyway, all that said, I called them because I wanted the right information for myself. So that's number one. If you want to win a war, you've got to get the information for yourself. No hearsay. Maybe if there's someone that you trust, like if my sister came to me tomorrow and she said, I have discovered there is a Jesus and that old boy lives on the moon and the moon is made of cream cheese. That's why he lives there, because Jesus loves cream cheese. I'd be like, what kind of crackers does he like? And if she said, I'm going to the moon to meet Jesus and have some of the finest, most divine cream cheese there ever has been. Because, I'm from a Jewish family and we live for cream cheese and bagels. Okay, that's our thing. And when I ate meat, I used to love lox. But, so, if she said that, I'd be going to Publix. And I wouldn't even care if they had a BOGO. I wouldn't. I'd buy crackers at the regular price. And that's something that goes against my grain. I just can't and won't do it. So, because I would know that she knew that she knew that she knew, and even if she turned out to be wrong, I don't care. I trust her enough. We'd take a flight to the moon, and come right on back and have a great tale to tell over margaritas. So that's number one. Get the information for yourself. And by the time I got off the phone with 5 or 6 people, I thought, gee, that smells like a lot of horse blah blah. Somebody's covering up for somebody. Who does this person belong to? Meaning, who does this gal, what kin is she to the people that can do something about it? What's going on behind the scenes? Because you know what? Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. And if it smells like horse apples and if it looks like horse apples and you step in it, you immediately want to, get it off your shoe, it's probably horse you know what. So I started asking the deeper questions and calling other people while all these other people are around here, blah, 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 and their hearts are in the right place, y'all. Their hearts are in the right place, and they will stay on it. However, I grew up in a family that were alive during wartime, World War II. And I learned a lot. I've been surrounded by military people, police, firefighters, that kind of thing my whole life. And I learned a lot. And so I'm sitting around thinking, all right, so this is a war. Okay, think, Bernadette, think. So I thought about it because it triggered my triple Scorpio. I've got a lot of Mars in my chart, y'all. I've got a lot of Mars in my chart. And the instant thing I wanted to do was just wage war, wage battle. However, today through this, what I'm going to talk to y'all about are some quotes from The Art of War by Lao Tse-tung, or Sun Tzu, I should say, Sun Tzu, excuse me. And one of the most that's has always hit me is the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Now, there are multiple ways to do that. I go knock on that gal's house, rip her out of her house, hog tie her, and take the dogs and be on about my merry business. And I do know how to hog tie. And I'm a pretty big gal. But where I'm going with this is this. Her demeanor says she'd put up a pretty good fight because that's what she's done. The counts of this woman screaming and throwing things at people and threatening. She's just not She's one taco short of a combination plate, maybe two tacos short of a combination plate. What are you gonna do with a person like that? And in that, it's not that she's two shot tacos short of a combination plate. She's that, and she's violent, and she's sadistic. There are plenty of people. I mean, when people tell me, the big thing now is for people to tell you up front they have mental health issues. I'm like, why are you telling me that? You gonna murder me? No. Okay. You gonna come break into my house? No. You gonna steal from me? No. Okay, so what's the worst that can happen? Well, I might go into a depression. I might be on a spin. I might be this. I might go manic. Okay. And when that happens, just tell me, and then let me know how long it's going to be till you come back, or if there's anything else I can do to help you through it. Let's get on it. It's just that simple to me. So be clear, I'm not dogging on people that have, mental challenges. I've got them. This past 2 weeks is a prime example of it. I could not get control of myself for love nor money. Number 2, you've got to stop waging war with yourself before you can go to war with anybody else. It's just that simple. You've got to be in a state of grace. You've got to be in a state where you know what you know, and you're ready to move on it. Here's Sun Tzu. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory you gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. Now that could be taken about a bajillion ways. I'm going to leave you with this, but here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm fairly deeply connected in the animal rescue community in and around my area, and I will leave it at that. And that's why I make no bones about the fact that I do what I do because I love doing it, meaning I'm a metaphysician because I love it, and I absolutely know it's my calling. I absolutely know it. However, I make no bones about the fact that I'm also a business person, and I do that for a couple of reasons. To encourage anybody else that wants to be in a metaphysical business, because the war that a lot of metaphysicians and spiritual people wage is, well, people in the spiritual business don't really make a lot of money. Well, A, I don't know what a lot of money is to you, and B, show me the data on that. And if there is data on that, if you can prove it to me, why is that paradigm? Why is that happening? I don't choose for that to happen in my life. Now, here's what I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you I make a lot of money. I'm telling you I do enough for what I want, what I have brought into my life. And the more that I make, the more it allows me to do more for animals. It's just that simple. I really am a simple person. I'm not as complicated as my past ex-husbands and boyfriends will have told you. It's not true. So, that said, there are a couple ways to wage war. And one of the things that one of the biggest things out of the art of war that Sun Tzu says is victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors they go to war first and then they seek to win. Meaning you got to have a plan, and that goes back to you got to know yourself, you got to know your enemy. So when I went on a dive yesterday to find out anybody that's had any communication with this person, I want to know how she communicates. I want to know her zodiac sign. I want to know all kinds of things about her. There's a reason for that. Maybe I'll go knock on her door and ask to talk to her, and maybe I'll get farther than somebody else, or maybe, but I'll have the information. I'll know where the investigation's to. I'll know all of those things so that I can make my plan to do my part. You must strategize and know what you know before you go to war. Now, the other thing that brought in was, I don't know why I didn't think of this. Man, I felt about as dumb as somebody can feel. I really did. Which one is it in The Wizard of Oz? If I only had a brain. If I only had a brain. Dart, 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 dart. I'm an animal communicator. I started communicating with those animals. And now I'm even more committed to it. And let's be clear. I don't have any proof that what I was getting is true. I could have been making it up in my head because, I'm assigning what I believe and what I think they feel and all that to them. Maybe. But I am in more control of myself as a psychic medium, as a shamanic practitioner. I'm in more control than that. Oh, yes, I am. And I know that because I've had some extremely surprising circumstances when I've tapped into animals in a lot of different situations. And the animal has told me something very surprising. The difference being is that the person that had me tap into them could give me the, yes, that is correct. Yes, that is correct. Yes, that is correct. Okay. But you don't need that affirmation. Remote viewing classes will teach you. You don't need that confirmation or affirmation to have confidence in yourself as a shamanic journeyer or psychic or medium or clairvoyant or empath or intuitive, whatever you want to call it. You don't. As long as you know that you know that you know. And you can let go of the need to know that you were right. You can get rid of the need to have the encouragement, so on and so forth. Now, this video is going to run a little bit longer, and I hope you stay in there with me, because the greatest victory, as Sun Tzu says, is that which requires no battle. And it is, how do you do that? Well, if I'd have remembered any of this 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have lost sleep. I wouldn't have been at war with myself. You know, a myriad of things wouldn't have happened, because that's, first of all, the greatest victory has to start with you. Whatever war you've been waging against yourself, stop it. Stop it right now. And stop. I don't know how else to say it except for stop. Now, the next thing is, Sun Tzu says, engage people with what they expect. It is what they are able to discern and confirms their projections. It settles them into predictable patterns of response, occupying their minds while you wait for the extraordinary moment that which they cannot anticipate. Meaning, that's why I want to know this gal's zodiac sign. That's why I want to know from other people, how does she communicate with you? How did this happen? What were the words that she used? How did she say that? There are all kinds of ways to communicate with yourself, because one of the things I'll tell you that will absolutely help you stop waging war with yourself about your income, your weight, your age, your looks, where you are, what, should I or should I not be in this relationship, so on and so forth, yak, 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 yak. The minute that you know how to communicate with yourself, because I guarantee if you're watching my channel, you're about as angelic person can be. You wouldn't be watching my channel if you didn't have an amazing heart and an amazing spirit. I'm all about the animals on this channel. You included, me included, all humans are animals. But it is about the animal spirit guides. Yes, it's about tarot. Yes, it's about psychic. Yes, it's about mediumship. Yes, it's about clairvoyance and, intuition, all those things. While being in a closer relationship to nature with the spirit totem and power animals, that's my lane. That's what I do. I know the other lanes. I've worked in the other lanes. I still work with the other lanes. But this is what I'm called to do. So, why I say all of that is, would you ever say to anyone else the things you say to yourself? This negative self-talk? I had a friend one time. Man, I think of her a lot. She's older. She had some physical stuff that, may not have made her the most attractive to mainstream society. And in particular, she had a big tumor on her head. It's just a long story. Her teeth were a wreck. Anyway, I loved her. She's sweet as she could be. And one day we were getting ready to go to dinner or something. And she'd come over and she was like, hey, do you have some hairspray? I'm like, yeah. She said, yeah. I'm like, do I have hairspray, please? So she goes in the bathroom and she was doing something with her hair. And I'd never noticed anything on the back of her head. And her eyes filled with tears. And I said, what's wrong? What's going on? So she lifts up her hair and she shows me this tumor. Okay, it wasn't attractive. I'm like, can you get that removed? Can you, why do you have it? What is it? My first concern was for her health. Like, are you okay? So she told me the story. It's not germane to this story, but what she said after is very germane to this story. She looked at me in the mirror. She goes, I don't even know why we're going to go to have dinner and go out to dance. No one will ask me, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't ask me. I am absolutely disgusting. Everything about me is repulsive. Uh, I I was young. I didn't know what to say to her, but my heart broke for her. And I tried all the, regular platitudes. Of course you're not. That's not true. So on and so forth. And, but her, had I known more, I might have been able to help more. I just didn't know more at the time. But she would never, ever, ever say that to someone else. Now, she might say that to them about their attitude or their mouth. She's a New Yorker. And she didn't have a problem calling a spade a spade. But, and I love that about her. But she would no more turn around to someone about their appearance and say, you're disgusting. You're completely, she would never say that. So the first person you got to stop waging war against is yourself, and you got to get to know yourself. That's it. Period. End of story. That's it. Then, if there is someone else you're going to war with, or you want to go to war with, or you're in a war with, stop for a minute. Just stop. And think about some of these quotes, some of these, Sun Tzu quotes from The Art of War, because it is, I just don't, let me give you another quote. This will describe it. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. If you have to repeat to yourself, if you need to repeat that to yourself like a mantra, okay, that's a great mantra, because that's going to change what you see, and it's going to change how you see it. And even if you get the Pewalican Jazzies whooped out of you in some war that you might be waging, you will still see the opportunity that is there, because nothing is all is lost. Nothing is that. That doesn't exist. There's always something new. There's always something that can be rebuilt from. Always. Always. Now, the other thing Sun Tzu says is, let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. Now, how I see that is, I know how Sun Tzu means that. I get it. But if there is if you have a problem making a commitment, I'm going to drop this amount of weight or gift this amount of weight in this amount of time. I'm going to, the next time that person says something like this, that's it. I'm going to draw my boundaries. I'm going to leave this relationship. I'm going to say something about it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's very much the same as many people do with their children. If you do that one more time, if you do that one more time, if you do that one more time, and by the time they've said, if you do that one more time, that kid's like, and they do that to them one more time. Because once is never enough when your kid is making you crazy. Oh, y'all, it's a boundary. And it's also are you a person of your word? That's it. And if you don't think those little things add up, oh, Bernadette, everybody says those kinds of things. And I'm not dogging on you parents. Please don't write me and tell me I'm telling you how to raise your kids, because I'm not. I didn't have children for a number of reasons. I worked with kids a lot. I got to observe thousands and thousands of parents and children. This is my observation. When you do want to bring the thunder, not just to kids, but to anybody, if you're the person who cried wolf, they're far less likely to believe you. Far less likely. That's not going to go well internally, much less on the outside. If you tell yourself this is it, I told y'all 6 weeks ago or more, I had said to myself, well, do you want to live or you want to die? My sister made carrot cake on Friday for the family. 2 slices. 2. I know I'm supposed to be laying off the sugar, but I did. I did it. I did. So clearly, my words don't about that subject don't mean anything to me right now. So I'm searching for words that mean something to me, because I am a person of my word. I say what I mean and I mean what I say. That's it. So I take that quote to see that. And this may seem heavy duty this morning, because it is. And here's why. Every day there's a skirmish of some kind going on inside of you or outside of you. I don't know many people, unless they live at the top of a mountain where not one other person is, they see or interact with humanity. And in that, there might be a war going on inside of them. I don't know. But wars are exhausting, and they're meant to be won. And so with this gal, the outcome of this is I have a plan. I'm still thinking on my plan, and in other ways, I'm helping already, because I'm communicating with the animals. And I am going to, for the first time ever, if you've made it this far in the video, this is only, I don't know, I'm already gone almost a half an hour. It's longer than my normal videos. And you may have, lots of people will have clicked off by now. But if you've made it this far, I know that you have the eyes to see and the ears to listen. And I'm asking you to hold in a sacred space. I don't want to mention her name, although I'd be perfectly within my rights to do so, because her name is all over the press. And I have a YouTube channel. I could be considered the press, but I don't want to do that. But if you look up dog abuse Gainesville, Florida, or you get on word of mouth Gainesville, Florida, you can find out who she is. But anyway, did I say that? I did. But I am asking you to hold a sacred, loving space for these animals. I don't know their names. And hold this woman in a space where maybe she can receive the love that's being sent to her. Because at the end of the day, she is sadistic, and she is cruel, and she is violent. But she has a soul. Maybe her spirit is doing all of these things, but she has a soul that's perfect in every way. And maybe she's not so disassociated and detached from her soul that her spirit can hear the loving kindness and compassion that you might send to her. I would really appreciate that. Please don't write me and tell me what you got from the dogs. Please don't do that. However much you know that you know that you know, make it a relationship with you and the dogs. They're two dogs. Make it a relationship between you all. In the meantime, that situation aside, please do write in the comments. Please come on over to Gathering of Mystics and let's talk about any war that you're going to. Because if your demons are disturbed, that's a tough place to be in. And if there's anything that I can say or do to help with that, again, please don't ping me on Facebook. I have to stop answering people on Facebook. You've got to come to my forums. I'm not going to answer people on Facebook anymore. I will not answer you if you text me. I will not answer you if you email me. I've got to contain all conversations, all the help that I'm giving for free, which I'm very happy to do. I want to do. It's my calling. You must go to my forums, and I'm putting out a newsletter to that effect next week. You've got to go to my forums. On YouTube, I will still keep answering as much as I can, but I invite you to go to my forums. I'm getting too many, and I understand. I totally get. You may not want to write your comments on YouTube in a public place, but when you ask me a question, you're asking me to give you a free coaching or free this or free that, and I'm happy to do that on my forums where everybody can benefit. But I get it that you may not want to put it in a public forum, but I have got to rein it in, you guys. I'm so sorry. I cannot be everywhere at once, and it's too much. Everybody's got to go to the forums. So again, I will answer comments and questions as I can on here on YouTube. But you get on over to gatheringofmystics.com. That's the most appropriate place for that. I really hope that if you've made it this far in today's Sunday ceremony, I really hope that you jot down those quotes, because in any situation that you have that where there's a kerfuffle of any kind, they really can hold you in good stead. And again, if you've made it this far, congratulations. You're a person that has the eyes to see and the ears to listen. So I love you all. I know this has been a wallop for a day, but it's just one day. And, you know, I was able to do everything I needed to do this morning to hear the messages and send this all out to you all. And I am so grateful for each and every one of you, just so grateful. And I thank you for showing up. I thank you for what you do for animals. I'm thanking you in advance for the things that you're doing for yourself, or that after this Sunday ceremony you're going to do for yourself. I just thank you so much for showing up for yourself and the rest of the world. You know, what are the most important things? That's why I preach: stay wild, do good for animals, including yourself, and just those little things. If we could just remember those every day, we could have a very different world. So again, I love you. Do good for animals, including yourself, and stay wild.